First story. Connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months or so before I really quit. It started before I was born. My biological mother was young, a graduate student, and she decided to put me up for adoption. She felt strongly that I should be adopted by college graduate. So everything was all set for me to be adopted at birth by a lawyer and his wife. Except that when I pop out, they decide at the last minute that they really want a girl. So my parents, who were on a waiting list, got a call in the middle of the night asking, "We've got an unexpected baby boy. Do you want him?" They said, "Of course." My biological mother found out later that my mother had never graduated from college, and that my father had never graduated from his high school. She refused to sign the final adoption paper. She only relented a few months later, when my parents promised that I would go to college. This was the start in my life, and 17 years later, I did go to college, but I naively chose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford, and all of my working class parents' savings were being spent on my college tuition. After 6 months, I couldn't see the value in it. I had no idea what I want to do. No idea how college was going to help me to figure it out. And I here was spending all my money my parents had saved their entire life, so I decided to drop out. It was one of the best decisions I ever made. The minute I dropped out, I could stop liking the required class that didn't interest me and begin dropping into ones that looked far more interesting. Second story, life after dropping out. It wasn't all romantic. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friend room. I returned Coke bottle for the 5-cent deposit to buy food with, and I would walk to the 7 mile across every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at Hare Krishna temple. I loved it, and much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Let me give you an example. Reed College at that time turned out to be priceless later on. Let me give you one example. Reed College at that time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Throughout the campus, every poster available on every drawer was beautifully hand calligraphed. Because I had the poster available on every door was beautifully hand calligraphed. Because I had dropped out and I didn't have to take the normal class, I decided to take a calligraphy class to learn how to do this. I learned about serif and sans serif typeface, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historically, artificially subtle in a way that science can capture. And I found it fascinating. None of this had even a hope in a practical application in my life. The 10 years space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can capture. None of this had even of any practical application in my life, but 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me, and we designed it on to Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple types of